One thing I'll say that I thought was really interesting, potentially with if Kamala had won versus Donald Trump winning, whether it's Epstein, whether it's Diddy.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating that these lists have been hidden for such a long time.
Who's hidden them? Where are they?
Exactly.
Do you know where they are?
I don't know.
Where do you think they are? What entity do you think has those lists?
Well, the people in the White House currently.
Think the FBI has it?
Absolutely. I think they
What
all
do you
have
think
it.
will happen if Kash Patel is running the FBI? You think he'll tell us?
So that's my reason in why when people say, well, gosh, Oprah and all these people and Barack Obama, all these people that are lining up to support Kamala Harris, just like that, when no one was there before.
Yeah.
To me, and this is maybe going to get me in trouble, but I said there's a big reason why so many of these celebrities have lined up to support Kamala Harris, because they know that if he gets back in office, he's going to fix some of these things and these lists will be released. This is literally just my guess.
There is a lady sitting in prison right now because she was supplying children to adults, but supplying children to nobody. She was supplying children for sex to nobody.
Apparently.
Because nobody's been arrested.
Apparently.
But the lady supplying the nobodies that have been arrested is currently sitting in federal prison, supplying children to no one. I think the reason that you haven't seen those lists yet is because there are Republicans on that list. There's Democrats on that list. There's probably preachers on that list.
It's going to blow up
all
this
kinds
country.
of people, judges, all kinds of
All the
people that
athletes.
nobody wants the list to come out. It's mutual destruction all the way around, and that's why you haven't seen those lists. But I find it so ironic that there is a woman sitting in prison for supplying children to no one.
To no one. Exactly.
So we're sick of that. And honestly, that's the number one thing that needs to be taken care of first, is busting the pedophiles, throw them in jail or worse. Jesus Christ said you'd be better off to have a millstone tied around your neck and be thrown into the sea than to ever hurt one of these kids. I mean, that came out of the Son of God's mouth. He said you'd be better off dead than to do that, okay? That's what he thought about it. America's never going to get the blessings of God again until we end child trafficking. End it, end the people doing it, end the money, end everything that makes that thing tick. When Tom Homan says, yeah, we're going to go get the national security threats, yes, we're going to go get the hardened criminals, but I'm going to find those 300,000 kids that are missing in the United States right now. I'm going to find them. I'm going to get them back to their families. I went, ding, ding, ding. There you go, Tom. That's what I wanted to hear, Tom. If you left all the criminals in the United States and didn't get any of them and go find the 300,000 kids, he's going to go, there you go.
Yeah.
And then here he will bless our country again. But as long as we allow that to persist, he will not. He will not bless this country. You can't bless a country that allows that to exist.
I'd like to read for people at home the lyrics to a new song you wrote, dedicated to P. Diddy.
Oh yeah, I dedicated a song to him. I sure did.
did.
I haven't finished writing it.
Okay.
It's just the lyrics.
So
yeah.
these lyrics are, I'll read them and you tell me how accurate they are as far as what you're still working on.
Oh, they're accurate. I haven't changed one word. I just haven't finished the song.
Okay. Evil runs around this town undercover looking for a soul to take. But they better stay away from the righteous hunter or hell is all they'll pay. 'Cause I see around the corner and I know you're coming. I see you around the corner, I know you're coming. If you had any sense, you'd run. But you ain't got a clue what a daddy will do. Better give your soul to Jesus while I get my gun. Better give your soul to Jesus while I get my gun.
That's correct.
Why did you write that song?
Because if you come after my kids, I'll kill you. Try it. I would much rather spend the rest of my life in prison and my kids are okay. They have no understanding the level of sincerity that regular everyday Americans have when it comes to their kids. I would much rather stand in front of a freight train than you ever lay a pinky on one of my kids. And these arrogant bastards going out there saying, like Sean Combs said, we'll take your soul. We'll take your soul. We own your kids. We determine what clothes they wear. We determine, we guide their lives. We'll take your souls. With this crazy demonic look on his face, standing on a microphone on a stage with bright lights and television cameras, and he is saying this to us. Okay, Sean Combs, why don't you come on and try it one time? Because you'll only do your dirty work in the shadows. You'll only do the dirty work under the house. Right? Because you're a coward, evil, wicked, satanic, demonic demon is what you are. And we have absolutely no fear of you. We have less than fear. We have nothing for you other than total annihilation of you and everything you stand for and everything you're doing to the kids of the United States of America. That's what that little lyric is about. And I've never heard anybody write that song. I might dedicate it to pedophiles. Maybe when I put it out, I go, here's the song I wrote. I'd like to dedicate this to all the pedophiles. Maybe that'll be my press statement when I put that song out. I think people would have to click on it if I said that. You're allowed to defend your family with deadly force. Listen, what they do to kids, when they get a kid, they don't physically, sometimes they kill them. But let's say they don't physically kill your kid, kill this child. They murder the spirit of that child. Yeah. They murder the soul of that child. They damage them to such a degree that if they live through it, they become an adult. And we've got tens of millions of adults right now in the United States who have grown up being horribly abused as children. And it was never dealt with, never rectified, and they've just covered it up way down deep inside, but it's still there. And then they go out here amongst everybody and try to live their lives. They become alcoholics, drug addicts, violent people. They become suicidal. It destroys them. They can't get to God. They can't get to Him because that is still in there. It's the devil murdered them when they were murdered their spirit when they were a child. There is a way to fix that. Matter of fact, this is something I hope people look up after they watch this podcast we're doing. My dad's been a preacher since he was 19 years old. He's now in his 70s. And there's a discussion with he and I that I recorded. It's on YouTube under my John Rich YouTube channel. It's on Rumble under my John Rich channel, called The Healing of the Inner Child. It's about a 45-minute conversation, and he walks through scripture by scripture by scripture on how an individual needs to pray to get the claws off of them that were put on them when they were kids, how to go in and address what happened and heal it so they can move on past it. But this is an epidemic in our country. Yeah. And so the Sean Combs of the world and anybody else involved with them and all these politicians, I don't care if it's preachers, I don't care if it's my favorite guy. If you're involved in that, you should be done. One way or the other. Throw you in jail the rest of your life or worse. Trump said recently that convicted child rapists should get the death penalty. 100%. Yeah. So that's what that song meant. Not to get too heavy, but that's a heavy subject.
It is.
And it is something we don't want to think about because it's too hard to digest that. But we better start digesting it. Because if we don't, then we'll never be able to approach it correctly. You don't approach that with a kid glove. You approach that with a baseball bat.
You realize.
Agreed?
Yeah, it's hard to talk about, you know?
Well, it should make you angry.
It does. It breaks my heart.
It should make you vicious.
Yes. And you choosing to do this, because this is a choice. It's one thing for us to say, yes, it pisses me off and it's wrong and all the things, and make a couple tweets out there. You're going to another level with this. And I just hope that people can appreciate this courage that you're showing. And I know you're not going to claim it as courage. It's the right thing, but it still does take that. And by you doing this, you're saving people and you're opening up the eyes of many others. Again, encouraging us to not stay silent, you know? And I just go back to the trailer trash
Silence
with a high
is
school.
Complicity.
It is, and that was during COVID and all these things. But I go back to your line at the beginning. Trailer trash with a high school diploma. And that kid from that double wide trailer has chosen to use his platform to save people. Yes, with beautiful music and Redneck Riviera and all the amazing things you're doing, and for troops, which I didn't even have time to talk about, because that stuff is part of who you are, and people know that. This is another level that you're choosing to go to for the sake of others.
We are commanded in the Bible to be willing to be a weapon in the hand of God to tear down as it says, to tear down the gates of hell. So a weapon can't swing itself.
Right.
A gun can't shoot itself. An axe can't cut a tree down by itself. But it's a useful tool. He's the one that swings you. So you want to make sure that you are sharp enough, strong enough, you're sitting on go, ready. And if he shows you, I want you to go after that. I want you to take that on right there. That you are tight enough with him and you have sharpened your blade where you're an effective tool. He will pick you up if you're willing to let him. He will pick you up and he will start chopping with you. He will tear them apart. He will destroy them with his own people. In Revelation it says the dragon was overcome by the brethren, by their testimony, and basically by their willingness to die if necessary. That's what it says in Revelation. John wrote that 2,000 years ago. So if you're willing to do that, he'll use you. And at the end of the day, your life, if you live to be 200 years old, Sage, it ain't nothing longer than that. It's just pop, just like that. It is nothing. There is no time and space with God. So your whole job down here is to make him happy. It's do what he says to do. And that's tough for humans to do. It's tough for me to do because you're like, there's a lot of things going to happen if I say that or do this or whatever. Yeah, but whenever your life is over like this and you're standing in front of him, what do you want him to say to you? He's going to have plenty to get on to me about, a lot. But I hope in the breaks, I hope he goes, but you know what? I told you to do that and you did it. And that was not an easy thing to do. So good job on that one.
Yeah.
That's what I just give me a pat on the back, man, for some of the ones I did. That's all I care about.
Oh, you're getting it. And your voice, literally and figuratively, right? I mean, your entire career, that's how we came to know and love you, is your beautiful talents. And now this is another level that is so much more important. So you are leading in ways I don't know you ever. Look, now you got me out. This is your fault. You got me all choked up.
Hey, my weapon of choice is a blank sheet of paper and a pencil. That's my weapon of choice. How about I just write it down and put it out?
But thank you for your strength, because we need you.
Oh, thank you.
Can I get some alcohol? I know you got some liquor around the corner here.
We all love you.
Thank you.
And thank you for your courage. You've been an example to people for what you were able to stand up to that entity over there at ESPN, and you didn't back up, and you took your hits, and look what you're doing now.
We'll need a little extra concealer under the eyes.
More free than you've ever been. We're proud of you.
God bless you. Thank you, John, so much.